Hello. We're going to get into a little lesson today. I've been loving getting to chat with you guys. We're going to cover situationships, how to avoid the situationship spiral, as I call it. We'll give it a few minutes, have some people join, and then we're going to cover the situationship spiral. Hello, hello. We're going to get into a little lesson. How to cover the situationship spiral. Hello. I'm doing both YouTube and TikTok at the same time right now, you guys. Let's see if I can multitask. We're going to dive into situationships, how to change the dynamic, how to deal with what I call the situationship spiral. We're going to do a little lesson because I know you guys have been loving those. It's going to be good. If you're currently stuck in a situationship, this is going to help you flip the dynamic. We're going to cover how to get out of a situationship, how to make that guy beg to date you, and also how to avoid falling into the situationship trap in the first place. Because there's a few key mistakes I see women make all the time that lands them, unfortunately, in situationships with men. And I'm telling you, in my opinion, summer is like the time of situationships. Because in the summer, men are less likely to commit because they're out all the time. They feel like they have a lot of options. They're seeing women everywhere. Whereas in the winter, the options feel much fewer. And so they're more likely to commit in the winter because they realize you're very difficult to replace. Definitely want to avoid falling into that trap again. Yeah. Anyone who's ever been in a situationship knows it is like a long death to be in a situationship. So we have to get booed up. We have to get booed up in the winter. You don't have to, but I do think it's easier. What do I think about a 10-year age gap in a relationship? I'm super pro age gaps. Men statistically mature slower. That's not just my opinion. That's like proven by science. Super pro age gap. Date older. Date men who are ready to settle down. Don't date men your age, especially if you're like 25. Men who have no intention of settling down in the next 5 years. 10 years. Especially if you live in a city. There's like an epidemic right now going on of these Peter Pan men who never want to grow up. They want to run around and be little boys their whole life. Ooh, you guys, my camera's falling. Sorry. All right. If you're just joining, we're going to cover all the things about situationships today, as I call the situationship spiral. And I will be honest with you guys, I'm getting ready. I'm doing a podcast tomorrow. And so I'm going to be talking about this on the podcast. So I'm giving you this lesson so that I can give it again tomorrow. So this is also a little bit of practice for me. So you guys can ask me the questions. I'll include that in my podcast because I want to make sure to deliver as many tips that help your dating life. We're going for the ring this year, ladies. We're going for dream relationships. Awesome. All right, so let's get into it. The situationship spiral. So why women stay and how to get out. So first things first. You need to recognize when you are being emotionally breadcrumbed from a man. Because a lot of women think when a man is inconsistent, he's hot and cold, that means that they have to lean in and prove themselves to him in order to have him choose them. They wrongfully think if I convince him I'm good enough, he will start showing up consistently for me. If I prove to him that I'm the right woman for him, he will ask me out. He'll follow through. He'll start texting me more often. And as well intentioned as this is, when a man gives you just enough attention to keep you emotionally invested, but not enough to move forward, that is a sign of emotional immaturity. And I always tell my clients, because it's very difficult to realize you're being breadcrumbed when you're in the situation, because a lot of times when you're in the situation, it's exciting because you're ruminating on it. Why isn't this guy texting me back? And it's really frequent I see with like women who are baddies. It's like, oh my God, why is this one guy not texting me back? It doesn't even like math in their head because they're so used to men giving them attention. And so then when one guy is kind of indifferent about them, they're like, what? And they have to convince him to like them back. And so it's difficult in those situations to realize, oh, wait, I'm being breadcrumbed. That's why I'm so into this guy, because he's presenting me with an opportunity to prove my worth to him. But remember, none of us as human beings have to prove our worth to anybody else. You are worthy because you are worthy. You don't have to prove anything to a man. So if he's the right guy for you, you will know. And if you are confused, then he's not the right guy for you. That's how you know. Rarely is it like, oh my God, he's breadcrumbing me. What am I doing? It's usually like, but he said he liked me, but we went out this one time, but I haven't heard from him, but he said he was going to call and he didn't. It's this up and down game where you're like trying to put the pieces together in your head. That's the sign. That's the sign that you are being breadcrumbed. Heart, if any of you have been through this, because I know I did when I was in my younger 20s, it is tough. It is a tough place to be. But the good news is we're going to cover in this live how to get out of this place with the guy. Yes, Sarah, you've been in that? Me too, babe. A lot of times it's sporadic texting, vague plans. So these are the men who are like, oh, it'd be fun to hang out this weekend. You're like, yeah, I'd love that. But he never makes solid plans. He never follows through. You see him posting on his Snap story doing things, but he didn't invite you. At age 50, Susan. Or it's a guy that disappears completely and then out of the blue texts you, I miss you. But there's no action, there's no commitment. He's just stringing you along over and over again. It's exhausting. Yeah, never again. These are signs of breadcrumbing from a man. And the other thing you need to realize, inconsistency is that man's love language. So one day he's warm, one day he's cold. And it creates a cycle of confusion that makes you crave clarity. Thank you, Toya. That was really nice. It makes you crave clarity because this one man is being inconsistent and you're craving consistency from him. You want his behavior to make sense. Probably doesn't even make sense to him. Yeah, do they know they're breadcrumbing? A lot of times they're just emotionally immature. Or they have 6 women in their ecosystem that they're trying to keep orbiting around them because it feeds their fragile ego. Either way, it's a no-go. And you will constantly find yourself decoding his behavior, looking for hidden meaning behind his words instead of just feeling secure and chosen. You should always know that that man likes you. That is the guy for you. If you constantly have to question if he likes you, that is a sign that this guy is not emotionally mature. A lot of times it's when I see clients and they're telling me, well, he said he really likes me, but he hasn't called. He said that our night together was the most special night he's ever had, but I haven't seen him in weeks. And I get it. That's really confusing. Those two things are conflicting. He's saying he really likes you, but he's not making the effort. How does that make sense? 1 plus 1 is 6 in that scenario. And that is how you know. It doesn't make sense because it's breadcrumbing. He wants to keep you, he wants to give you just enough to keep you around, but not enough to make you feel safe and secure. And if any of you have ever been in a healthy relationship where a man from the jump is making it feel like you are the number one woman in his life, you will know how freeing that feeling is. It's infinitely better than a man that you have to piece together what he really wants. You go insane going through it. Yes, it's 100%. You feel insane. You have to like piece it together. You become essentially like an FBI agent. I will meet with clients. You guys amaze me. I will meet with clients who have like truly reached FBI spy level of like piecing together all the behaviors of a man. And if you have to do that, that's how you know. Because the guy who's for you, he's consistent. You don't have to piece it together. It's all laid out up front. That's maturity. That's a man who's emotionally available, who's not playing games. It's easy to get sucked into these situationship games. But as soon as you start saying things like, well, I know he likes me because XYZ, as soon as you start trying to make it math in your head, that's how you know. The other thing that will happen is when you're being breadcrumb, you will start to initiate. You will start to overthink and justify why he is acting the way that he is acting. And you know what he does? He stays in a passive role. Now you're reaching out to him. Now you're trying to get him to chase you. Remember, as women, the sperm swims to the egg. And I know loser men get mad about this, but I've taken it back. I've thought about it, and it is a hill I will die on. The sperm swims to the egg. If he's not pursuing you, he's not courting you, he's not in his masculine, and therefore you should not want him. These passive men, that's feminine energy. They want you to chase them. Cute. Leave that for another girl. You're above that. If you are initiating, you're overthinking, you're ruminating on that guy all day, you're talking in circles about it with your best friends. God knows I've been there, you guys. There's no judgment whatsoever in this. But that's how you know. You are on the hook. You're being breadcrumbed from a guy. 1 plus 1 is 6. And this is because we're going to dive into the psychology of this. Kimberly, that's been you for years. Yeah. For a year. Yeah. The reason behind this is psychologically, the most addictive relationships are ones where rewards, like affection or attention, are unpredictable. This is very similar to a slot machine in Vegas. It's when you don't know when you're going to win, when you're going to get that dopamine rush that keeps you hooked and coming back for more. And this is why you'll hear a lot of women, I've certainly heard a lot of women tell me, why am I more upset about my situationship ending than my actual relationship? And it's because your actual relationship likely had a sense of clarity to it. There was emotional stability. Whereas your situationship was very up and down, hot and cold, unclear, a lot of questions that'll never get answered, unpredictable. That makes you obsessed with it. And then it leaves you when it ends with a lack of closure. Intermittent reinforcement is when every once in a while you get to see him. There's no consistency to it. Every once in a while you hear from him. It's like a roller coaster. And you'll say, but when it's good, it's really good. That's how you know. That's how you know. When it's good, it's really good. But when it's bad, it's really bad. The other thing about breadcrumbing is there's a fantasy bond associated with it. So you're often more attached to the potential of a man, of what could be with him if he actually stepped up and committed to you. You see who he could be one day, and then you cling to that. I always tell you guys, you break your own heart when you date a man for his potential. There's no shame in this, but then you make that frog out to be a prince, and then you hold him to the standard of a prince, and you allow him to get away with more because you're so attached to that outcome, that fantasy. This is that lover girl behavior. None of us are lover girls on here. We're ex-lover girls. We're taking back the power of our life. Don't fantasize about a man before you even know him. Even when you know him, be in the present. Allow him to show you who he is. Because when you fantasize about him, you're more likely to allow disrespect because you're so attached to a certain outcome with him. A man may or may not ever reach his full potential. But as a woman, you can't sit around and wait for it. You can only date him for who he's being in the present moment. So if you're stuck in a situationship, you're being breadcrumbed, have empathy for yourself because it's chemically addictive in your brain, the highs and lows. The next reason it's so hooking to be in a situationship is there's a self-blame cycle. You start thinking, if I just did X, maybe he'd commit. And this keeps you locked in a loop of trying to prove your worth rather than questioning his capacity to show up. I know that was me when I was younger. If I was a size 0, he would commit. If I looked like a model, if I was better at this, if I was that, if I was cooler, if I wore designer clothes, you're constantly blaming yourself for his lack of commitment. Let me state plainly, a man's behavior is a reflection of his worth, his internal state, not yours. Anytime that you take on a man's behavior to be personal about your worth as a woman, you are in for a rough effing ride. There's nowhere to go but down. Depersonalize a man's behavior. It only is a reflection of him. And I can say from years of dating, I work with hundreds of clients, the most incredible women, you guys, come to me and they are being put through the ringer with men. And that makes you really see, because from my standpoint, from all your standpoint, I'd be like, wow, this girl she's so cool. She's so together. She has a thriving career. She's so gorgeous. And she's dealing with a man who just treats her awful. It's not because she's not good enough. It's because he is blind. He doesn't know a good thing when he has it. There's a lot of men out there, a lot of men who have to lose a good thing to see its value. It's like this grass is always greener mentality, that until they lose their dream girl, they don't realize she's the best they're ever going to get. It's not about you. It's about them as a man. And then the last reason that situationships and breadcrumbing is so addictive, a fear of abandonment. The thought of fully walking away can trigger your nervous system, especially if you were abandoned when you were young. Then it's going to be an even more sensitive wound. So even though it hurts to be in that situationship, to do the hot and cold with that guy, you're going to stay. Because remember, we talked about this on the live yesterday. Your nervous system is always working to keep you safe. That's the way we evolved. And to your nervous system, what is familiar is safe. So even if being with that guy is causing you agony, if it's familiar, then your nervous system wants to keep it. So you have to do the work to rewire your nervous system so that you're not attuned to not being chosen and feeling hurt by men. Yeah, it seems safe. You need to attune your nervous system to being chosen. Then it works for you instead of against you. So here are some real steps to shift the power dynamic. If you are currently in a situationship, I was talking about this on the beginning of the live. It is like the summer of situationships. I don't know what it is. I think it's that it's like warm out. Men are getting ideas, you guys. They don't want to commit. They think they have a lot of options because they're seeing more women out. I don't know. So right now, I feel like I have so many clients who are going through situationships. So here is how to shift that power dynamic and have him begging you for a commitment. The first thing is to name the pattern. Awareness, right? Awareness breaks the spell. So you need to get radically honest with yourself. Is he breadcrumbing you? Is he leading you on? Is he future faking? One of my favorite words, phrases. Future faking. One day we'll be in a relationship, Carissa. One day you're going to have my kids. One day you're going to be my wife. But right now I'm going to treat you awful. Right now I'm going to string you along with 3 other women. What is the likelihood that a man like that is ever actually going to propose to me? Slim to none. Slim to none. A man who treats you like trash is never going to wake up one day and treat you like gold. It never works like that. So awareness. This guy is not your twin flame and you're having the hardest time because you're, separated by fate, whatever. This guy is an F-boy. Name it. There's a lot of healing that comes. There's a lot of liberation that comes from being like, this guy is not the coolest guy I'm ever going to meet. He's a guy who's playing me. Awareness is step number 1. Step number 2, stop negotiating for crumbs. Start matching his effort instead of surpassing it. So if a man is giving you crumbs, he's texting you when he feels like it. God forbid he texts you in the middle of the night. Never respond to a man who texts you in the middle of the night. I literally forbid you guys. That is awful. All of you deserve like 1,000 times better than that. Match his effort. So if he's only texting you every week, only text him back every week. Don't beg him to see you if he's not making plans to see you. And really the basis of this, because you guys, it like irks me when people are like, this is playing games. No, this is self-respect. All of you are above begging a man to choose you. And when you love yourself, when you've cultivated inner love, you don't feel the need to beg a guy to choose you. People who love themselves know they are worthy of reciprocal love. I would say everyone on earth is worthy of that. We all deserve that. So it's not about playing games and being hot and cold and matching his effort. It's about knowing you are worthy of a guy who pursues you. And a guy who doesn't know to call you, to text you, to make plans to see you is not worthy of you. Stop putting energy into that man. You don't have anything to prove to these men, you guys. I look back at the men in my early 20s that that I really wanted to choose me. And I would essentially bend over backwards trying to get them in my corner. And now I look back and you know what I think? Those men are not shit. It's usually that they're not choosing you. And so you perceive that, oh, he must have a lot of options. He must be really cool. If he's not that into me, I need to work harder. I need to earn it. I need to prove myself. No, that's the sign. As soon as you start having those thoughts, that is the sign he's not the right guy for you. And another thing on this note, if he's not the right guy for you, you will have thoughts about how can I be more of this? How can I be more of that? How can I lose 5 pounds? How can I be cooler? How can I dress? Da, 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 da. But the guy for you makes you feel more comfortable in your skin right now. I think about even like friends I have like this. It's like I hang out with them for an afternoon and I love myself more. Those are people who are aligned for you. And that is how you will know. So stop negotiating for crumbs. If he's not making an effort to see you, wish him well. Know that he is blind. You can't make a man see. You can't make an F-boy realize a woman who's good for him. God knows. Match his effort. Stop over investing in men who aren't making the effort with you. Put your energy into men who are making the effort. They're out there. As soon as you take your attention off this guy who's not giving it to, who's not reciprocating your interests, you will be shocked to see how many available men there are out there. Create space for contrast. So you do not be afraid of distance with men, you guys. Let him feel your absence. Pulling back reveals when there's substance or when there's just a power game. So if you are always reaching out to him, pull back and see, does he then reach out to you? If you always ask him to hang out, don't ask him to hang out this week. See if he asks you. The phrase that I love with this is stop watering dead plants. And you want to find out if that guy is an alive plant or a dead plant, don't reach out. See if he makes the effort. See if he reaches out to you. Don't be afraid of space or silence or absence. That's queen energy. Think of like in an office setting, in a meeting. Who's really intentional about their words? Who's not afraid of silence? A boss. Who has to fill in every silence? And who's talking really fast? And usually a lower employee. That's because being comfortable with silence, holding power, holding energy, that's that queen energy, that boss energy. It's silence and absence. If he doesn't miss you in your absence, it's a losing game. And if you are never absent, then he doesn't have the space to realize how much he cares about you. He doesn't have the contrast of having you in his life and not having you in his life to realize, oh shit, I really love Carissa. Silence and absence, yes. Reclaim your standards. So instead of trying to get a man to choose you, decide, is this the relationship I want? Is this good for my peace? And I would even say, to take this farther, get super clear on what you want your life to look like in 5 years from now. Do you want to be married with kids? Do you want a committed relationship? Do you want to live in a house together? Get really clear on what you want your life to be like in 5 years. And then when you are dating a guy, reflect, is this aligned with who I want to be in 5 years? Because if you want to be married with kids in 5 years, but you're entertaining a situationship for year 2, those things are not aligned. It really helps clear your vision of like, oh, this is aligned for me, or this isn't aligned with where I want to go in life. And on that note, the guy who's going to marry you and have kids with you is not going to be a guy that strung you along for 2 years. I'm telling you guys that with love. I hope that's clear. I'm not shaming you. I'm not putting you down. I want all of you to stop being hung up on men who never deserved an ounce of your energy to begin with. Every time I see a badass, amazing girl with a loser guy, it just, I can't. It hurts. You're better than that. There are men I dated in my early 20s that I wish someone had like shook me and been like, Carissa, he's not shit. Stop being so down bad for a loser. And I wish I could get that time back. I've taken my power back. I love that for you, Susan. I love it. And then the last thing on this subject is detach from the outcome with your situationship. This is like the secret sauce, you guys. When you always have one foot in, one foot out, and I don't mean that you never fully love, because true love is full. It's a full feeling. I mean that you are always willing to choose yourself over a man. No matter how much you love him, you love yourself more. That is when you always hold the power in a relationship. You have to shift your energy from being, how do I get him, to I trust what is aligned for me will stay. I trust what is aligned for me will respect me. I trust what is aligned for me will prioritize me. This is magnetic energy. And then the other side of this, become unavailable to men who drain you. If he is not making your life better, statistically, you guys, he's making it worse. He should be adding to your life. Otherwise, you are better off being single. And talk about hills I'll die on. The buckets are being with a man who makes your life better up here. That's the first tier. Here is being single, working on yourself, becoming an improved version of yourself. All the way down here, below the bar in hell, is being with a man who drains you. Because on the other side of that, you will just end up depleted. And he is just using your feminine energy to elevate. So if you are in a situationship, you need to keep all these things in mind. When you detach, you stop caring, 9 times out of 10, then they start caring. You never want to be the one who cares more in the relationship, because then you're about to deal with disrespect from a man. You guys, should I get extensions? I've been kind of thinking about it. And aside. All right. Now we're going to get into a little breakup detox. If you guys are just joining, I kind of gave this yes extensions. Thank you. I needed a little vote. I'm going to be on a podcast tomorrow, and I have to talk about these topics. So I wanted to get a little practice in with you guys and also get your feedback. So if there's any questions you have, let me know. Because then I can add it when I do the podcast tomorrow, which I'll obviously share with you guys when it goes live. So now let's get into breakup detox. Thank you. You guys are the best. You guys, I can't. I love you so much. You're so amazing. Breakups physically feel like a withdrawal, but we're going to cover why that is and how to speed up the process. So biochemically, your body is going through withdrawals when you're going through a breakup. Your brain is used to the dopamine, the oxytocin, and the cortisol spikes. Remember, oxytocin is the love hormone. When you cuddle with your man, when you kiss him, when you are intimate with him, your body is flooding with oxytocin. And you get used to getting those hits every day from him. And so when it ends, you go through withdrawals. You no longer are getting those hits of dopamine and oxytocin. And your nervous system crashes. That's why it physically hurts, at least when I've been through a breakup. It literally, I can physically feel it in my chest. I'm like, ooh, ow. It's not in your head. Like, your body's withdrawing. The second thing is your brain misses the highs, but it will convince you it's the man you miss. So, especially if he was very hot and cold, you would be used to the roller coaster. Your nervous system will become accustomed to the highs and lows, the ups and downs, the games. And then when he is MIA, your body is like, what is this? It's peace. But your body's like, this is not an up and down. This is weird. And you know how your body will react? It begins to romanticize your ex-boyfriend because that was giving you the hits, the ups and downs. And that's why that's part of the process during a breakup. You start thinking that all the things that annoyed you about him, maybe they weren't that bad. Maybe you can work it out. It's your brain playing tricks on you. It wants the hit of dopamine and oxytocin again. There's nothing wrong with this. This is literally just awareness. Awareness. This is how the body is working. How do we speed up the process of getting over a breakup? You guys know, I truly believe real friends tell you the things you don't always want to hear. They tell you the things you need to hear. That's a real friend. And I'm a real friend to you guys, so I'm going to tell you the hard truths. If you are going through a breakup, you have to go no contact. That is the quickest way, scientifically, to get over a guy because it gives your nervous system time to reset. But if you are continually exposing yourself to this man, then you don't have your nervous system doesn't have time to reset and value peace. And you will consistently get pulled back into that relationship that wasn't serving you. And so when I work with a client who's gone through a breakup, I have a protocol I do with them. And one of the things that is non-negotiable is they have to go cold turkey, no contact, 60 days. And I literally make them put in their phone, in their calendar, 60 days. And they cannot text him or respond to him, and ideally look at his social media for 60 days. Because that is the length of time it takes for your emotions to kind of dissipate and you to see that man for who he actually is, outside of your emotions for him, outside of your attachment for him. And here's what I see happen time and time again. By day 15 of no contact, they're crying. They miss him a lot. By day 30, they're really angry. They effing hate him. Da 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 da. They want to tell him how much they hate him. By day 45, they're feeling okay. They don't know. They're happy. And by day 60, they don't give a shit about that guy. Oh, and I love to see it. Nothing fuels me like a woman who was down bad for a loser who has finally reclaimed her power. That is a thrill. And it takes 60 days to detox from that man. 60 days to flush him out of your system. And then when you do talk to him, I'll say half the time women by day 60 don't care to ever speak to him again. They now have seen him for who he truly is and they have lost interest. But then when they do talk to him, they've truly mastered detachment. They've cleared out all, yes, I do work with queer people. They've cleared out all of that energy and they can now see that person who broke their heart for who he truly is. And they have the power back in the dynamic. Because if you talk to your ex and you're coming from a victim place, I'm going to keep it super real with you guys. I had a really tough mother, so I guess like sometimes tough love, I think, does set you free. If you talk to your ex right after you broke up and you're crying and you're whining, you're playing victim, it doesn't make him want to get back together with you. It's not a sexy, empowered energy. The sexy, empowered energy is, I know my worth. I love myself. I'm that bitch. Whether you're in my life or not, whether you get the pleasure of having access to me or not, I'm going to thrive in life because that's my calling. That's the energy that a guy's like, oh shit, I shouldn't have let this girl get away. I need to get back with her. So you need to regulate your nervous system. And here are a few of my favorite ways to regulate your nervous system if you are going through a breakup. Number one is cold showers. I take a cold shower every day after I work out. 1 minute in the cold. The first 3 days, it kind of effing sucks. By day 4, you kind of weirdly like it. And now I'm like addicted to it. I get like a rush. The next way to regulate your nervous system is working out every day. It doesn't matter if it's running or weights or Pilates. Moving your body, moving that energy. It's going to help you get over a breakup rather than just stewing in sadness or pain. And the third thing is auditing. Oh, I used Wim Hof method for cold showers. Hey, that's a great tip. Thank you for sharing that. Wim Hof, if you're not familiar, is a breathwork technique. It's really awesome for cold exposure. The third thing is auditing your friend group. So, are you surrounded by people who want the best for you? Or are you surrounded by people that are pulling you back into bad habits? You have to really assess, is this person serving who I want to be? I think about when I was in my younger 20s, you guys know I don't drink at all now. But when I was in my younger 20s, I was going out all the time, drinking all the time. And I had a lot of friends who encouraged that. They wanted to go get drunk all the time. And while that was okay when you're 21, that was really not aligned with the life path that I saw for myself. And so auditing, are these people feeding me good habits or bad habits? Because if you're going through a breakup and you're hanging out with friends who are encouraging you to go get drunk all the time, it's going to make it worse. You need friends who are going to encourage you to do productive things that serve you, that serve who you want to become. What do you do if you do all of that and they come back after 6 months of no contact? Assess if you want to be in contact with them. And only respond if you truly don't care. Like, ask yourself, if he doesn't respond, am I going to be upset? Am I seeking him to say something? These are signs that you still are emotionally attached and you should not engage. Don't gaslight yourself into thinking you're above getting pulled back in to that situationship if you still have feelings. So, how to reconnect with your power and stop romanticizing potential in a man. Number one, radical honesty. What was the reality of your relationship like with your ex? Because when you go through a breakup, your brain naturally emphasizes the good moments and diminishes the bad moments. It forgets all the times you guys fought, and it remembers the one time he showed up for you, the one time he followed through. So you need to literally write it down. I have my clients put it in their notes app. All the reasons that guy is not right for them. So when those romanticizing thoughts creep in, they're like, here's the hard truth of my ex. He did this, 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 this. It's like, it reminds me of when I went through sobriety. They would have us write down all the times that one drink would lead to, a series of bad events, because it's the same way. Your brain starts to romanticize, oh, I can have just one drink. And you have to literally ground yourself. Oh, I can just reach out to that guy. I can just call my ex and not care. Ground yourself. What was the reality? What happened last time? Don't get sucked back in. Radical honesty with yourself. And along with this is accountability. Remember, I am a diehard girls girl. We all need each other, you guys. We have enough with men. We have to have each other's back. And so if you are going through a breakup, lean on a girlfriend and ask, can you keep me accountable for not reaching out to my ex? And then when you're tempted to reach out, send him a paragraph, either write it in your notes or send it to your best friend. Do not send it to that guy because you'll regret it, believe me. But having a friend who you designate as keeping you accountable to not reach out to your ex can really help. Or coaches. Coaches are a great way for this too. I help my clients do this as well. But sometimes it helps to have a friend just check in and be like, hey, I just want to make sure you're sticking to it. I've done this and I've made a letter and burned it. Yeah, that's a great idea too. The other thing, if you are going through a breakup, is I want you guys to stop thinking about it as you lost that guy. You lost that guy you really loved. I want you to think of it as you shed a version of yourself who accepted breadcrumbs from a man or whatever the situationship was. You shed the version of yourself who allowed a man to not know if he wanted to be with you, who allowed a man to be hot and cold with you, whatever. Learn the lesson so the cycle doesn't repeat. And also, just so you guys know, you never lose a man. You gain peace in his absence to call in a guy who is aligned with you. So know that on a fundamental level. No matter how much you miss your ex, you lost nothing. As a woman, you always win. Reclaim your power by choosing yourself. Every time you resist reaching out to that guy, you build confidence in yourself. Power is built in the micro moments. And then lastly, romanticize your own future. So every time you want to think about the past and your ex and all the things he said and all the great moments, instead romanticize about the future. Romanticize about your husband who chooses you, who shows up, who's emotionally available. Put energy into that instead of into your ex who was hot and cold and play games and treated you awful, whatever. Don't make a frog out to be a prince. Your brain will do that when it's going through the withdrawals of a breakup. You have to outsmart it. Heart if this is making sense, you guys, or if you want me to cover any more of that. What to do when you're going through a breakup. All right, awesome. So if you're just joining the live, I kind of gave a brief overview at the beginning. I'm going to be on a podcast tomorrow and I have to talk about certain topics. So I'm kind of running through those right now. And so I'm looking forward to feedback from you guys or any questions you have so I can make sure to include it when I talk on the podcast. Oof, okay. So the next topic is dating like an ex-lover girl without losing your power. So here are some feminine energy myths that keep women chasing. And I see these on TikTok all the time and it like irks me. It irks me that you guys are getting bad advice. If I'm in my feminine, I should wait around for a man and be passive. That is the myth. No. True feminine energy is not passive. Feminine energy is magnetic. It receives, but it also selects. So you're not just like letting any man have access to you. No, you're being very intentional, very thoughtful about the men you allow into your life. High value feminine energy inspires pursuit, but it doesn't force it. So, feminine energy is not being passive. It's not sitting back and allowing life to just, like you're just going with the flow all the time. Feminine energy is very intentional. It's strong. Visualize feminine energy as a black panther. It's slow, it's seductive, it's strong. It's like almost like an undercurrent of power, like a black panther. It's like, it could fuck you up if it had to. That's feminine energy. It's not like chaotic, but when push comes to shove, it can like fuck a guy up. That's feminine energy, like a black panther. I think there's a lot of advice that I see on TikTok that feminine energy is really soft. It's letting a guy choose you. Nope. That's keeping you guys stuck. In my opinion, that's disempowering. True feminine energy is strong. Second feminine energy myth: softness or feminine energy means ignoring red flags. That is the myth. The truth: you can be soft and discerning. So, loving somebody doesn't mean tolerating inconsistency. The feminine holds strong boundaries. Remember, boundaries are how you teach other people how to treat you. And boundaries are hot, you guys. Men want women who have strong boundaries. Men want women with high standards. The right men, the men you actually want to date. And the third myth is being feminine means being chill about everything I want. Wrong. The truth is being feminine means expressing your desires very clearly and allowing a man to rise to them or remove himself. Yes, men try harder when you set high standards. Exactly. The right men. Loser men who want to sit on the couch and play video games, they don't like standards. Good. You don't want those men. All right. The art of attraction through mystery and embodiment. So I always tell you guys, sexy to men is being unpredictable. Being super predictable, being the nice girl. To men, that means boring, not hot energy. You don't have to overshare, overexplain, or rush intimacy. You have to allow a man to unfold your depth slowly. So I talked about this at length yesterday in my live. But when you are on a first, second, third date, whatever, you should not be oversharing with a man. You have to view it as he has to earn those stories from you. He doesn't just get them because he's on a date with you. And when you make people have to earn it, when you make men have to earn your stories, your personal thoughts, they appreciate them more. But a girl who shows up to a first date, lays out her whole life story to a guy, he's like, all right, I have her figured out. No mystery, no intrigue. And remember, the same way that you as a woman, you want a man who gives you safety, a man who gives you security, who provides for you and your future children. Thank you. I love you. The way that you want a man like that, men want a woman who's intriguing. They want a woman they can't quite figure out, a woman they have to piece together. A guy friend of mine said this to me the other day in a different way. He goes, "Carissa, I can't imagine dating a woman I don't find fascinating. I have to be fascinated by a woman to really want to date her." That's the truth. They want someone they have to ruminate on and figure out and piece together. And it's not about pretending you're a puzzle when you're not. It's about slowly giving him pieces of yourself. It's about having a filter surrounding the words that come out of your mouth. Remember, we talked about this earlier on the live. The queen energy is being really intentional about everything you say. When you are more intentional about the words that come out of your mouth, people listen more to them. When you're just talking all the time and da 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 da, I feel like we've all seen people like that at the dinner table. I know I have at like group dinners, like people who just never shut up. Everyone is like at some point just starts tuning it out because it's like this person never shuts up. That's somebody who doesn't have a filter surrounding their words. And so everyone slowly gets bored because they never stop talking. The second thing about embodying attraction is being present. Some of you go on a first date. I'm not pointing fingers, but I'm saying this to help some of you. Some of you go on a first date and you are thinking, does this guy like me? Is he going to ask me on a second date? Where's this going? I can imagine our 3 kids. Oh my God, are we vibing? Are we vibing? Does he like me? He can feel that energetically, even on a subconscious level. He will feel that you are not present. It will come out in your actions because you'll start to people please, which I think is it's like a reflex for most of us because most women are raised to be nice. I know I was. It's like men were raised to be smart. Women were raised to be nice. And it screwed us all over as adults. So we have to actively undo that conditioning. So when you go on a first date, instead of thinking, how does he feel, which is giving him the power to choose you, I want you all to be on a first date thinking, do I like him? Am I impressed with his values? Do we align for the future I envision myself? Is he showing me signs that he's emotionally intelligent? Is he showing me signs that he's looking for a committed relationship? Or is he talking about his ex? Is he making a bunch of sexual jokes? Is he showing me that he's not actually a good guy? You'll be able to pick up on that stuff more when you're present. And the irony is that when you are present, you can pick up on the energy. And now you are holding the power in the dynamic, and he will be drawn to you like a moth to a flame. The third way to embody attraction, magnetism is created through space. That means not texting first, not filling in the silence at dinner, and not being afraid to pull back when your energy isn't matched. My grandmother told me this, my Italian grandmother. She told me this when I was 5 years old. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. And now we have a bunch of statistics to support it. When a man doesn't have access to you 24/7, then he has to problem solve how to get you. And when a man has to problem solve, he releases vasopressin, the chemical that's involved in a man forming an attachment. So when you give him space, he likes you more periodically. That's the caveat I'd give with this. Because unfortunately, I do see people kind of misinterpret this advice sometimes and like just pull back completely. Men don't piece together that you're still interested. So you really have to have, it's a fine balance. And pulling back, giving him space, but still being warm and engaging so he knows you're interested. That's the balance you want to keep. I would say only text him first every 5 times he texts you. And until you are in a committed relationship, being comfortable going a day without texting him. If you are texting a guy every single day after the first date, that's not a great sign. You and him don't really know each other to be communicating that much. Silence makes the heart grow fonder. Hot girls know that. Hot girls use it, use absence to their advantage. They don't fear it, they love it. Talks about this in the book 48 Laws of Power. Very famous book written by Robert Greene. Use absence to increase value. Because what is something that's not super available? What do we think in our heads about that? What do we think about an Hermes bag? Not everyone can have an Hermes bag. They're not always available. What do we associate with that with? High value, high status. It's that exclusivity element. Take an Hermes bag out of it because those are expensive. Let's look at Labubus. It's not like Labubus are better or worse than all the other stuffed animals, but what are they? Exclusive. So everyone wants to have one because it makes you feel special to have one. I have one somewhere in my drawer. My friend got me one. It's the same way with you as a woman. When you're not always available, he perceives the time he does get with you as more valuable. That is human nature, and you can fight it or you can use it to your advantage. And the caveat I'd give with this, because sometimes people are like, but that's playing games. It's really not playing games when you have a well-rounded life as a woman. When you have things outside of dating men, like your friends and your career and your fitness routine and all these things that fill up your cup, you just naturally don't have a lot of time to text back. You don't naturally have a lot of free nights to hang out with him. So it's not about playing games. I would say it's really fundamentally about knowing you're the main character and acting like the main character. Hard if this is making sense, you guys, or if you want me to explain that more. Because it's a really important part of being a magnetic woman is using silence, using absence to your advantage. Please give more details. Details about what? Hello, hello. All right, now let's dive into, if you're just joining, I talked about this at the beginning of the live. I'm going to be on a podcast tomorrow, so I have to talk about all these topics. So we're doing a little bit of a lesson today. So any questions you guys have, I can cover today and then also tomorrow in the podcast. So how to move from an option to a priority. How to reclaim your high value energy as a woman. This is really important if you are dating. Mistakes that make a man lower your value in his eyes, and also how to fix it. Hi, Dante. Okay, over-investing too early. When you do too much, emotionally, physically, and logistically, before a man has earned access to you, he values it less. And I want to be really cautious about this topic, but I also think it's very important to talk about because intimacy, I have to be super careful because I get in trouble with TikTok. But intimacy, you guys know what I'm talking about. You need to wait to do that with a man until you have a commitment with him. I know that doesn't make me the most popular woman on TikTok because I feel like the cool girls are like, do it whenever you want. But here's the thing. When I was in my younger 20s, that was the advice I got from Cosmo. It was like, it's feminist to sleep with whoever you want, whenever you want. And so when I was in my younger 20s, I was like, cool, this is feminism. And you know what? Not once did it make me feel empowered. It made me feel like shit. It made me attached to men who had no intention of dating me, of being committed to me. It literally broke my heart over and over again. The much wiser advice that I will stand on, even if it doesn't make me the coolest person on TikTok, I don't give a fuck because I want the best for all of you. Do not do that with a man until you have a commitment. Because one, it makes him value it more when you are more thoughtful about it. And two, it filters out the guys who only want to use you and then leave you. I have asked so many men in my life, even men who I would look at as like very evolved, like, do you value hooking up with a woman less if she does it too early? And they all say yes. Like men who I was like, no way are they judging because they're so evolved. They're like, yeah, it's better to wait. Every man has said that. And here's the thing. Some of you are like, but I knew right from the jump that we were going to get married. I believe you. Maybe you're soulmates. But then wait. Then he'll be willing to wait if he's your soulmate. Make him prove it. He has to earn that from you consistently over time. And it's not about him. It's about protecting your own heart from men who have no intention of being a good partners to you. What about kissing? Kissing is fine. I'm talking about the intimacy as in like the whole thing. I have to be careful, you guys. TikTok gets mad at me when I talk about it, but it's important to cover. And I feel like it's not covered a lot, but it's a huge part of dating. How soon to expect commitment in that case? So you should be having conversations about commitment with a man at 3 months minimum. If at 3 months he still is unsure about commitment, he's likely a commitment phobe. That's the thing. I see a lot of women like at 3 months, they're like, well, he's not ready, so we're going to wait. But if he's not ready at 3 months, he's less likely at 6, less likely at 9. Because you think as a woman, oh, he's investing more time into me, he's going to step up and commit. But a man is seeing, oh, I'm getting the girlfriend level package without the boyfriend level commitment. And I'm going to ride this train until the wheels fall off. Because in guy world, that's eating his cake, having his cake and eating it too. So he's just going to continue to do that. Why would he not? He's getting the best of both worlds. So minimum 3 months, conversations about commitment. You should not be intimate, you know what I mean, doing the deed with a guy until you have a commitment, until you are exclusive. For so many reasons. But for the point of this live, to protect yourself, to make sure he's serious about you. Do you guys have any other questions on that? Any other questions about being intimate with a guy and when you should get commitment? How about before marriage, if that's what you were looking for? What if he commits too early? This is a great question. Thank you for asking it. I see this happen sometimes with guys who they will lie on you to convince you to hook up with them quicker. And that's why you have to have a lot of discernment in dating. Men have pieced together, even men who aren't narcissistic, you guys, that if they love bomb a girl and they make her feel like she's really special to them, that she is more likely to be intimate with them quicker. So you have to be on the lookout. And how do you discern that? You listen to his actions, not his words. Men will say anything, and God fucking knows they do. Whatever he says, throw it in the trash. Words are cheap. They cost him nothing. Action is how he actually feels about you. Is he booking the dinner? Is he calling you routinely? Is he remembering the things you tell him? Or is he confusing you with the other 5 girls he's dating? This is how you know how he actually feels about you. Yeah, they act like you're their girlfriend. That is exactly. When I was in London a few weeks ago, I went out with a group of, well, it's a group of men and women. But one of my guy friends, who I know is a player, was hitting on a woman. And he was like, "Oh, I just met the love of my life, Carissa. This is the future mother of my children." And I know, because I know him personally, he does not feel like that. That was a move. And it's happening to some of you, and you're like eating it up. It can feel good, but also no. If he actually feels like that, he'll follow it up with action. He'll wait. That's the thing. If a guy isn't willing to wait for you to be intimate with him, then he doesn't actually like you. That's the hard fact. A guy who actually cares about you will wait until you're ready. My current partner said to me one time when we started dating, he was like, "If you never want to do that with me, I'll still love you and date you all the same." I was like, "Take off your clothes. Let's do this." Just kidding. Kind of. That's the hot energy, though. That's the hot energy. Is a guy who doesn't even care. He's willing to wait however long until you are ready. And the irony, if any of the men who troll my lives are watching this, the irony is that's a hot, sexy energy. Guys will wait, but not forever. I wouldn't wait indefinitely. Yeah, that's true. There's definitely a difference, though, between waiting indefinitely and pressuring a woman. The point is, as a woman, respect yourself and know that you don't have to do that until you feel comfortable. Have your own back. These are things that we weren't taught in school. If a guy isn't willing to wait until you feel ready, he doesn't actually like you. That's how you know. Actually, I heard about this on there's this comedian, you guys. I can't remember her name. She's like a cute girl, blonde hair, so fucking funny. And she talked about this on one of her stand-ups, and she was like, it's the God stopper effect. And it's essentially where I will tell a guy I'm not ready to sleep with him first to see how he acts. And he responds like he doesn't really care, then I'll sleep with him. Because then I know he actually likes me. But if I tell him I don't want to sleep with him and then he freaks out, I know he doesn't actually like me. And like facts. That's kind of how you know. How to get commitment first before being intimate. You should have the conversation about being exclusive. So before you're intimate with a guy, being like, listen, I'm really into you or whatever. I want to stop seeing other people so that when you are intimate with him, it's only you and him. There's so many reasons for this, you guys, but like, it's also hot girl energy. It's knowing your worth. Personally, I would not want to be intimate with somebody who's also intimate with other people. That's my boundary. All right. The mistake that lowers your value in his eyes How do you reverse it? So if you've overinvested too quickly, you reverse it by matching his energy, matching his effort. So you want to remain warm, flirty, feminine, but stop initiating. Let him lead. Men in their masculine, they want to lead. They like doing it. Not even do they like doing it, they'll know how to do it. Men in their feminine, they want a woman who's initiating. And this is where the tough love comes in, you guys. Remember, real friends tell you the truth, even when it hurts, even when it's hard to hear. And I am your real friend. So I will tell you the truth, even when it's not nice. When you look back over the history of your dating, assess, am I attracting in men in their feminine? Because if you're attracting in men in their feminine, maybe you're showing up in your masculine. There's nothing good or bad about this. It's just you can only change the behavior once you have the awareness of it. And remember, on this channel, none of us are victims. A victim mentality in dating is like, men are trash. I know that's really popular to say, but that's not serving you and finding true love. When you have that mentality, all men are trash, that's the victim mindset. It's like, I'm just a victim of dating. It's so hard. The victor mindset is, all right, I keep attracting in feminine man. How can I change my behavior to get a different result? That's the victor mindset. That's taking responsibility of your life. It's so much more empowering. It's so much more empowering than just being a victim to life. So if you are initiating all the time, you are making plans, you're going 50-50 on the date with him, you're likely going to attract in feminine men. And you're also going to repel masculine men. So be receptive, be flirty, be warm, but allow him the space to lead. So how to be the woman that is unforgettable to a man, that he can't get over, he's obsessed with. Number 1, self-assured. She's centered in herself. She doesn't need validation from a man to feel worthy. This is really important for several reasons, you guys. Number 1, because there's like an epidemic of little wannabe covert narcissists running around. And if you are seeking validation from men choosing you, unfortunately, you become a target to these little mini narcissists. Why is that? Because if you are insecure, you will eat up a man giving you compliments. If you're secure, you'll be like, why is he saying this? I don't even know him. And unfortunately, women who are insecure are more likely to be controlled by these narcissists. You become a target. When you are confident, you are less likely to allow a man, a little narcissist, a little covert narcissist, to control you. So, loving yourself is the key here. You don't need a man to validate you. Love and choose yourself. And then you attract in great men and you repel little mini narcissists. How do you know if he's a narcissist? If he's love bombing you, if he's trying to change you, if he wants to always be with you, he's very codependent, very controlling. Those are red flags. That's not a healthy man. Two, second energy of a woman who's unforgettable. Not everybody gets her time, energy, and attention. Men have to earn it. They don't just get it because they have a 6-pack or a 7-digit bank account. So freaking what? You need to prove that you are worthy of my time, attention, energy, body, whatever. Have boundaries, have standards, have hoops he has to jump through before he earns access to you. The right men will do it. The right men will prove themselves. The wrong men will not, but you don't want those men. Why do men respect what they have to earn? Men are wired to value what they invest in. So when you're too easy to access emotionally, sexually, or mentally, it feels less meaningful. Respect is earned through standards, not silence. So that's just human nature. Anything that is more difficult to obtain, we put it as more meaningful. So let's take the Olympics, for example. It's really hard to get an Olympic medal. So therefore, we put it really high up. It's really impressive. If anyone could earn an Olympic medal, they wouldn't be so sought after. It's the same way with you as a woman. If any guy gets to date you, you'll date any guy who says you're pretty or gives you a shred of attention. Then he doesn't feel lucky to be with you. But when you're really thoughtful about the men that you give access to you, then those few men who do get access to you feel really special. And notice how this has nothing to do with how you look or what size you are or how much money you have. This comes down to an energy. That's the gag, you guys. I wish I knew that when I was younger. It's literally about being thoughtful about the people you allow in your life. And then they appreciate the men who you do allow in your life, appreciate it more. That's human nature. Let a man earn you. Not because you're playing games, but because your worth is not for negotiation. So when you love yourself, you don't just allow any man in your life. You really have to look at yourself like you would your best friend. Would you want just any Joe Schmo to date your best friend? No. I think about my best friends, and truly, I'm like, is anybody ever good enough? Don't know. Have that same mentality for yourself. You only want great men around you. Loser men will pull you down on top of that. You only want men who are going to lift you up. Remember, if you just joined the lives, we talked about this earlier. The buckets in dating. Up here, the top bucket, number 1, is being with a man who makes your life better. Underneath that is being single right here. Being single, working on yourself, filling your own cup, becoming an improved version of yourself. Down here below hell is being with a man who sucks your energy, who's draining, who you're constantly up and down fighting with. You are so much wiser to be single than to be with a loser man. I'd put that on a billboard if I could, you guys. That's how much I believe that. Make men earn you. Be selective about the men that you allow in your life. Wait out for a top tier man. I know it's tempting if you've been single for a while, if you're lonely. I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, once you get to the point where you don't even care if you have a boyfriend, that's when you naturally attract it in. Because if we look at on an energetic standpoint, you attract in things that you're vibrating at. So if you're vibrating at a level of like, I need a boyfriend, you're inherently putting it on a pedestal. And then you're not a vibrational match. But if you're vibrating at, I'm really fun, I'm really sexy, I'm really loved, then you're vibrating at the same frequency as having a boyfriend who loves you. And then it's just a byproduct. It's natural. And that's why one of my favorite affirmations that I do with my clients is, of course I have a boyfriend. Of course I have an amazing boyfriend who loves me. Of course I have a boyfriend who shows up for me. It's just natural. Of course you would have it. It's kind of similar to like, if you go to the gym every day and you eat healthy, of course you're going to get a rockin' physique. If you love yourself, you hold strong boundaries, of course you're going to get a boyfriend who loves you and respects you. 1 + 1 is 2. Yes, take your power back. Yes, Erica. I feel like I've become really good at weeding out the bad ones. Where do the good ones hang out? Here's the thing, you guys. I get these questions a lot, and there's a few answers. I'll give you the physical answer, but the first thing I want to highlight is sometimes you guys are like, where do I go to find good men? And while I understand that thinking, it's very externally focused. And what you actually should be focusing on is how do I become a match to the kind of man I want to attract? So to illustrate, like if you want a guy, for example, who is really fit and really career focused and ambitious, but you're really lazy and you're not great financially, you don't save any money, you're not a match. It doesn't matter if you go to the same bar every weekend. Even if you guys meet, you're not going to vibe. So really write down, I have my clients do this. Write down all the traits that you want in your dream man. 6'5", blue eyes, whatever. Works in finance, loves me, respects me, works out every weekend, da 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 da. Write down all the things. Is a dog lover, whatever. And then write down who his perfect match would be. What kind of traits would his perfect match be? And then become that. That's how you attract in that man. It's less about going to like a specific bar or a hotel lobby or whatever. I met my man through a mutual friend. Literally, a friend called me one day and was like, Carissa, I think you should meet this guy. And I was like, cool, connect me. That's how we connected. The universe brought us together because we're a match. But on a physical level, because I also do ask my guy friends who are successful, I'm like, where should women go to meet great guys like you guys? Because I think the majority of them, honestly, are not on dating apps, if I'm being 100. Number one, they are really big fans of these like pickleball or paddle clubs. You guys, I don't know what's going on with my hair. They're really big into the paddle clubs. So if you're in specifically like LA or Miami, join a pickleball or paddle club because that's where a lot of like the cute, successful entrepreneurs are hanging out. Another great one is like expensive hotel bar lobbies, expensive hotel bars. Because men who are traveling are going to be at that. You need to do your research though, make sure that he's not secretly married. I always have someone in my live say that. Hotels can get a little dicey, but be smart, have discernment. You guys, you know what to do. All right, the last thing I want to cover tonight, you guys, and then we'll do a Q&A at the end. Why no contact isn't a rule, it's a rebirth. So the brain chemistry behind why no contact is so hard. I literally just saw they have like countdowns now for no contact, which made me laugh. Like literally, I think of like in sobriety, we had countdowns of like since my last drink. It was like since my last text to him. That's what we have to do, I guess, nowadays as women. But there's a reason. It's really hard. Because when you go no contact with a guy, you have dopamine withdrawal. Your brain misses those hits of talking to that guy all the time. And so a lot of times you'll think about him to get that same hit now that you aren't speaking. And your system will likely panic when you're going through that withdrawal, your nervous system. And on top of that, I just gave places in case you also want places. It's not about the places, but if you also wanted places, I wanted to give you guys those answers as well. Okay, the brain chemistry behind no contact. On top of that, when you're going no contact, your body is going through an oxytocin loss. Oxytocin is the cuddling hormone. It's the bonding hormone. So when you cuddle with him, you kiss him, you hold hands, you're intimate with him, your body floods with oxytocin. And now that you and him are over, there's that loss, there's that withdrawal. No contact is kind of like, it's like an addiction in many ways. So, rules of no contact. I always have my clients do these. Non-negotiable rules. And they have to follow it. Number 1, complete no contact, no lurking, no stalking his socials, checking his follower count, all the things. Looking at his location, you have to truly go no contact. The second thing is you need to rewire your nervous system. When you're doing no contact, your nervous system is going berserk. It's like, whoa, the source of my happiness is suddenly gone. This is scary. This feels weird. Yikes. Yeah, no rereading old texts. I hear you, Nicole. I empathize. But that's keeping you hooked to that man. So nervous system resets are movement, running, walking, breath work is another one. Literally free on YouTube. Breath work, 10 minutes will reset your whole life. And 3, meditating. I love meditating. It will change your life. It's boring for a while and then you kind of crave it. The third thing is journaling. Literally type into ChatGPT or do the voice thing your entire situation, the novels you guys send me in my DMs that I love to read. I love to get them from you guys. Put that in ChatGPT and give me journaling questions to get over this guy. It will tailor journaling questions to help you move on. And on top of that, you guys, ChatGPT is a great tool for getting over a man. Every day, you can ask ChatGPT, give me a pep talk on my ex. Remind me why not to reach out to my ex. Remind me why my ex doesn't deserve me. ChatGPT is a free tool that will remind you you are that bitch. Or you can come to my channel and I will remind you. Either way. When you're going through no contact, you will be going through withdrawal. You're so welcome, Margot. Is that free? ChatGPT is a website, and yes, it's free. And the last thing is reconnecting with people who fill you up, people who fill your cup and make you feel, remind you that you're loved, that you're lovable, that you're worthy. So that when you're missing a guy who didn't make you feel those things, a guy who constantly made you feel not good enough, you're not seeking anything from him. And so if you guys want all the rules of no contact, I did a YouTube on this recently. Look at my YouTube. So you guys are asking for a podcast. I don't think I'm going to be doing a podcast soon, but look at my YouTubes. My YouTubes are longer form advice. And it's more in-depth. It's like actually being my client without actually being my client. It's the detoxes I put my clients through. It's the protocols, the first date protocols, the breakup detoxes, everything. All right, you guys, I have 15 minutes. So let's go through any questions. I saw some questions in the chat that I didn't have a chance to answer. I want to hear what's going on in your guys' dating life. Thank you all for all your feedback. It was really helpful. If you're just joining the live, I was giving a little lesson that I'm going to be giving on a podcast tomorrow. So thank you for all your feedback. Okay. Dating for 3 months and he pulled away and it hurt so bad. I think I was too available. Can I fix it? So it talks about this in the book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, a very famous dating book that highlights the key differences between the way that women operate and men operate. And in the book, it really gives the analogy that I believe rings true, that men are in many ways like another species. Like they just think differently, they operate differently than us. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just having the awareness of that. And in that book, it talks about if a guy pulls back, it can mean one of two things. It can be one, he lost interest, or two, he just needs space to reflect. He needs space to process his emotions. And in the book, it gives the analogy that it's like he withdrew into his cave. That's how they explain it in the book. And so if a guy pulled back that you've been dating for 3 months, the first thing I would do is give him space for a period of time. Because the longer that you pressure him, according to this book, but also my personal opinion, the more that you pressure him to like, why aren't you talking to me? Reach out, da 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 da. The more overwhelmed he gets and the longer you're prolonging that pullback period. So give him space and also know on a fundamental level, you are that bitch. Like whether this guy has lost interest or not, it doesn't determine your value, God knows. Like you're still worthy of being loved. Maybe he's just not your person. So give him space. And then step 2 to switch the dynamic is pulling your energy back into yourself. So instead of obsessing what he's doing and when he's going to reach out and stalking his socials, pour into yourself, make plans with your girlfriends, go to the gym, do a Pilates class, like do things that make you light up. Because then one of two things will happen. One, he will come back chasing after you. He will realize, oh, she doesn't need me like I thought she did. I don't run our relationship like I thought I did. She knows she's surprised, and that's a woman I don't want to lose. Or two, you will become an improved version of yourself and meet an even better guy. So either way, you don't win. Or excuse me, either way, you don't lose. He's been chasing me online. He's been chatting with me online on and off since October 2023. And we haven't met. So I'm doing a YouTube on this soon. And it's rules of online dating. There are these like creature men that live on dating apps who, for whatever strange reasons, usually to do with ego, they want to be pen pals with a bunch of women, but they never actually want to date them. Whether it be insecurity or ego driven, they have no intention of dating. They just want to talk to like several women at the same time because it feels validating to them. And so that's why one of my rules of online dating is if you are chatting with a guy, after a week, he needs to step up and set a date for you and him to get together, or you need to stop investing the energy and messaging with him. Because what happens is women message with these men, and then a month goes by and they're like, well, I don't want to just give it up because I've already invested a month in it. We're going to hang out. He's going to step up. He's just really busy, da 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 da. And then another month goes by, and then, they're slowly are investing more and more time into a guy who can't do the simplest thing, a bar set in hell, of scheduling a fucking dinner. I mean, for God's sakes. So if you are online dating, a guy has a week when you match and you start chatting to book the dinner. That is so easy. And if he doesn't do it, put your energy and attention elsewhere. Focus on other men who do want to meet in person. I'm going to be honest. Who wants to text as an adult? Who wants to text back and forth all day? That is so bizarre to me. Long distance dating. The key with long distance dating is you want to make it as lifelike as possible. So even though you're long distance, do FaceTime dates. And it's not like, oh, are you available? It's like Tuesday night, we're going to sit down and eat our dinner together and like it's a date. And if you can't do FaceTime, do calls. If you can't do calls, do voice memos back and forth. And if you can't do that, then you can text. Identifying socios. Yeah, that's fair. With long distance, you want to make it as real life as possible. Because when you are doing face-to-face, your body is releasing oxytocin when you have eye contact. So when you're just texting back and forth all day, it's not really bonding you the same way as like FaceTime or in person is. What else, you guys? Any other questions? I'm in a situationship spiral. It's sinking really slowly. Help. If you are stuck in a situationship, you need to pull back your energy. And remember that as long as you allow a man to keep you in that situationship bucket, he will keep you there. You have to be the one to realize you deserve better and pull back. Oof, it's a fly in my room. He's going to ride that bus until the wheels fall off. Mark my words. When you walk away from a man, do they always come back? Yes. Especially if you hold the mentality that you're the prize. It just takes time, you guys. You always send me these like, but he hasn't come back yet. Give it time. It's when you truly detach that you pull back your power and the energy dynamic switches. I always say, you guys, this needs to be studied. If anyone on here knows a scientist, is a scientist, whatever, as soon as your ex like smells in the air that you have moved on and you are happy, they have to reach out and see if they can bother you a little bit more. I ran into a girlfriend of mine a few weeks ago. And at the beginning of the summer, she went through a really bad breakup. Like she was so down bad. And so finally she was like, I'm not feeling better. I'm going to take myself on a trip to Spain. And when she was there, she met this really hot guy at her hotel. And he was like, yeah, I have a yacht. You want to come on it? And she was like, say less. Like, of course I do. And she was like, Carissa, down to the minute that I stepped on this guy's yacht, my ex-boyfriend texted me. Like that, it's the energy dynamics at play there. She truly moved on. She truly let go of her ex. And he felt it energetically. It's not like consciously. It's not like he's like, oh, she's moving on. She's on a yacht with a guy with a six-pack. No, but he's like, it's energetic. But what if he already has a new girlfriend? You guys, you have to resist. I understand. I empathize. I'm not saying I'm like holier than thou right now. But you have to rise above the temptation to compete with his new girl. Because I understand it's like, it's something instinctual in us that we like want to compete or we want to like, feel superior to whoever our ex is dating now. But if that guy treated you badly, he's going to do the same thing to her. And so really at the end of the day, you should feel bad for her. She's getting the beginning part where he's acting nice and he's showing up consistently. But men who are treating women bad are treating all women bad. It's not just you. So really, you should feel bad for her because she's going to be where you are now one day. And I really think fundamentally, you guys, I'm not going to go on like this tangent, but when you compete with other women, especially over a man, the only one who wins in that scenario is men. They like when you do that because then you're competing with each other. As women, we have enough to deal with against men. We have to have each other's back. So resist the urge. It's not you versus this woman he's now dating. So true. Thank you. I've seen this firsthand. Yeah, for sure. The other thing is, like, I'll speak for myself. When I was 26, I dated this guy who fucking sucked, you guys. I was very different back then. But we broke up and I was kind of bummed about it because it was very driven by COVID. We just weren't ready to do like long distance. And he moved on super quickly. And I was shocked and I was really pissed because this girl looked exactly like me. Like she could have been my doppelganger, which kind of felt a little bit like salt to the wound, to be honest. And I remember like telling my friends about it, like, oh, I'm so pissed. Like, he moved on so quickly, da 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 da. And my friend was like, Carissa, that girl just deals with all the bullshit you would call him out on. All the things you wouldn't deal with from him, she's withstanding. She's allowing him to do. So again, feeling bad for that girl. It's not like he's suddenly become a whole nother person who knows how to respect boundaries and treat women well. It happened overnight. No. He's just found a new victim. That's the sad truth. I really don't know how to flirt. How can I use my feminine to flirt? Flirting as the feminine is about slow speech. So I'm not doing a great job of it right now on the live because I'm trying to get as much information out to you guys as quickly as possible. But if I was on a date, I'd talk like this. How was your day? It's so good to see you. I'm so happy. I love chocolate cake. Like you're talking slow. It's more feminine. He talks about this in The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene, a very famous book. He wrote it because he did a ton of in-depth research on the most famous seducers in history. He said they talk like a melody almost. Think of Megan Fox. I think Megan Fox has a very alluring voice. She's never talking fast and rushing. It's slow. It has a melody to it. It's almost like you know something he doesn't know. And you can think that in your head. That's a great alluring flirting technique. It's like, I know something you don't know. It naturally makes you very coy. Another great flirting technique with men, yeah, like Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, Megan Fox's voice is very sensual. I totally agree. Another thing that I love that's very flirty, very feminine is touches. Light touches on the arm, or holding hands, or brushing something off him. The thing is, creepy men who you don't want near you, they will have no issue breaking the touch barrier and touching you. Great guys who you actually want to date, who are trying to respect you, they don't always know when the right time is to touch you. So you as the feminine can lead this and break the touch barrier first. Because the great men you actually could date will likely kind of stall it because they won't know when the right time is. Another thing that's really flirty is winks. Being really thoughtful about your winks. And lastly, smiles. Smiles are very feminine, very warm. Yes, if a woman touches first as a man, that is on point. This guy's words, God's ears. So what if you are just naturally really happy and excited? That's beautiful. Lean into that if that's your natural energy. But again, like we talked about earlier in the live, being really thoughtful about what you're saying. It's not oversharing. It's not just like one stream of consciousness. It's overwhelming to the receiver. We flipped the power dynamic to have him chase, but he still has a girlfriend. How do I go further now? If a guy has a girlfriend, you need to prioritize other men. I know that you like him, but if a guy has a girlfriend, my opinion, honestly, is he's off limits. I would focus on somebody else. And then if you and him are meant to be together, he will eventually become single. But personally, I would never mess with someone else's relationship or advise any of you to get involved with that. Because I believe very strongly in karma. And I would never want that to come back around to me and have someone mess with my man. How do I deal with his mother guilt tripping him around time spent away from her? We're in her 30s. Yeah. There are a lot of mommy boys as adults. I've definitely dated a few. The thing is, a lot of times they make good boyfriends because they're used to like being around women. With mommy guilt, just really encouraging him, it's not me or your mom. Yeah, there are moms who like can't let go of their adult sons. Definitely dealt with that. But if it were me, I'll be honest, I would befriend the mom as much as possible. I would play nice, and I would continue to tell my man, it's not me or your mom. We're all one happy family, but there is healthy boundaries too. His mom doesn't like me because she's jealous. I've so been there, you guys. I had a really serious boyfriend like that who I like, yeah, it felt like his mom wanted to date him. It was very odd. There's no other words for it. It was odd. Can it ever work? Absolutely. But it's going to take him stepping up as a man. It's going to take him taking responsibility for the dynamic that's being created. And I would also be transparent with him of like, here's how this is going to play out. Like today, it's us arguing about going to dinner with you and your mom. But tomorrow, it's your mom trying to tell us what school to send our kids to. It's your mom controlling the wedding we have. Like, I would give him the awareness of like the bigger picture. So it doesn't seem like you're being petty and upset because you wanted to go to dinner, just you and him Friday, and now his mom's coming along. I would show him like, oh, I just think about it bigger picture. We're going to need more boundaries. But also know you were so not alone in dealing with that. All right, awesome, you guys. I'm going to sign off. I have to get up super early and go film this podcast. I'm so excited to share it with you guys. Please DM me if there's any questions I didn't get into. If you need support, book a one-on-one with me. I love to chat with you guys. I live for it. I promise to do more lives, and I'm going to stick true to that. Trying to think of what else. Thank you so much for all your questions. I love chatting with you guys. It makes my life. Thank you, ladies. I love you so much. I'm sending you all so much love. And I will talk to you soon.